Heart disease is the leading cause of death for adults over 60 in the United States and most of the developed world. According to the American Heart Association, more than 11% of U.S. adults already live with some form of cardiovascular disease, and that number is projected to keep climbing in the coming decades. The good news, backed by decades of research, is that heart disease is largely preventable through diet and lifestyle. The AHA's 2026 scientific statement notes that consistent healthy eating, combined with other healthy habits, could help prevent up to 80% of heart disease and stroke cases. For people over 60, this matters even more, because blood vessels naturally stiffen with age, blood pressure tends to rise, and cholesterol management becomes harder. Food is one of the few tools seniors can control every single day to protect their heart. The AHA's 2026 dietary guidance, published in the journal Circulation, shifted its focus away from single superfoods, or strict nutrient counting, and toward overall eating patterns, including eating plenty of vegetables and fruits, choosing whole grains over refined grains, selecting healthy protein sources, replacing saturated fat with unsaturated fat, minimizing ultra-processed foods, and limiting added sugar and sodium. A large 2023 study reviewed by Harvard Medical School found that eating enough from 6 food groups, fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, fish, and dairy, was linked to meaningfully lower rates of cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks and strokes. Many seniors have heard advice that sounds helpful but is not supported by strong evidence. One common myth is that a daily glass of red wine protects the heart, but newer genetic research has not confirmed a protective effect, and current AHA and WHO guidance says there is no safe amount of alcohol when it comes to blood pressure and cancer risk. Another myth is that all fat is bad for the heart, when in truth, healthy unsaturated fats from fish, nuts, and olive oil actively protect the heart, while saturated fat and trans fat raise risk. Most people don't realize that sodium and potassium work as a team, and that potassium-rich foods like bananas, potatoes, and leafy greens help the body flush out excess sodium. Few people know that fiber, especially from oats, beans, and fruit, directly lowers LDL, the bad cholesterol, by binding to it in the digestive tract before it enters the bloodstream. If you are over 60 and you want to protect your heart for the next 20, 30, even 40 years, the next few minutes might be the most important thing you watch today. Every single day, 7 simple foods can quietly work inside your body to keep your arteries clear, your blood pressure steady, and your heart beating strong. These are not expensive superfoods from a health food store. They are foods you can find at any grocery store, foods your grandmother probably ate, and foods backed by real science from places like Harvard Medical School, the American Heart Association, and the Mayo Clinic. Stay with me until the end, because food number 4 is the one most doctors say people over 60 eat far too little of, and it could be the single biggest gap in your daily diet. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about simple, honest, doctor-approved health information for seniors, without the hype, without the miracle cures, and without anyone trying to sell you something. Today we are talking about one of the biggest health threats facing people over 60, heart attacks. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a heart attack. And after age 60, your risk goes up significantly because of natural changes in your blood vessels, your cholesterol levels, and your blood pressure. But here is the empowering part. Research consistently shows that up to 80% of heart disease can be prevented through daily habits. And diet is one of the most powerful habits of all. So today, we are going to walk through 7 foods that heart specialists recommend eating regularly if you are 60 or older. We will explain exactly why each one helps your heart, in plain, simple language, and I will also tell you who should be careful with certain foods, because good health advice always considers your personal situation. Let's get into it. Let's start with food number 1, fatty fish, like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. Over time, without care, they can get stiff, narrow, and clogged, the same way a hose can get crusty and blocked with mineral buildup. Fatty fish contain something called omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats act almost like a lubricant and a cleaning agent for your blood vessels. They help lower triglycerides, which are a type of fat in your blood linked to heart attacks. They also help reduce inflammation, which many researchers now believe is a hidden driver of heart disease. The American Heart Association recommends eating fatty fish at least twice a week. A simple way to do this is to swap out red meat for a piece of grilled salmon or baked mackerel 2 nights a week. If you don't like the taste of fish, canned sardines on whole grain toast or salmon mixed into a salad are easy ways to sneak it in. One important note: if you are on blood-thinning medication, talk to your doctor before significantly increasing your omega-3 intake, since very high amounts can affect blood clotting. Food number 2 is leafy green vegetables, things like spinach, kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard. These vegetables are packed with something called nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps relax and widen your blood vessels, which can help lower blood pressure naturally. Leafy greens are also loaded with vitamin K, which supports healthy blood clotting, and potassium, which helps balance out sodium in your diet. Here's a fact most people don't know. Potassium doesn't just lower blood pressure on its own. It actually helps your kidneys remove extra sodium from your body. So think of leafy greens as your heart's natural pressure release valve. A practical tip: add a handful of spinach to your morning eggs or smoothie, or swap out iceberg lettuce, which has very little nutritional value, for a darker leafy green in your salads. If you are on blood-thinning medications like warfarin, you do need to keep your vitamin K intake consistent day to day. Not necessarily low, just steady, so always check with your doctor about how to balance this. Food number 3 is berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Berries are rich in antioxidants called anthocyanins, which give them their deep color. Multiple studies have linked regular berry consumption to lower blood pressure and improved blood vessel function. Berries are also high in fiber and relatively low in sugar compared to other fruits, which makes them a smart choice for people managing both heart health and blood sugar. Think of berries as tiny shields for the delicate lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. When this lining is healthy, it helps prevent the kind of plaque buildup that leads to heart attacks. A simple daily habit is adding half a cup of mixed berries to your breakfast, whether that's oatmeal, yogurt, or cereal. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh and are often more affordable. Food number 4, and this is the one many doctors say people over 60 don't get enough of, is legumes, meaning beans, lentils, chickpeas, and split peas. Legumes are one of the most underrated heart-healthy foods that exist. They are high in soluble fiber, which binds to cholesterol in your digestive system and helps remove it from your body before it can build up in your arteries. A large 2023 study reviewed by Harvard Medical School found that regularly eating legumes, along with fruits, vegetables, nuts, fish, and dairy, was linked to a meaningfully lower risk of cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks and strokes. Legumes are also an excellent plant-based protein source, which is important because the newest heart health guidelines specifically recommend swapping some red meat for plant proteins. And here's a bonus for seniors. Legumes are inexpensive, shelf-stable, and easy to prepare, which makes them a practical choice on a fixed income or for anyone who doesn't want to cook complicated meals. Try adding a half cup of black beans to your rice, tossing chickpeas into a salad, or making a simple lentil soup once a week. If you have a history of gout, introduce legumes gradually and speak with your doctor, since some legumes contain compounds called purines that can affect uric acid levels in sensitive individuals. Food number 5 is whole grains, oats, brown rice, quinoa, barley, and whole wheat bread. Whole grains still have their outer bran and germ layer intact, which is where most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals live. Refined grains, like white bread and white rice, have had this layer stripped away. Oats specifically contain a special type of fiber called beta-glucan, which has been shown in multiple studies to lower LDL cholesterol within just a few weeks of regular consumption. Think of whole grains as a slow, steady fuel source, instead of the quick spike and crash you get from refined carbohydrates, which can stress your blood sugar and blood vessels over time. A simple daily habit is starting your morning with a bowl of oatmeal instead of sugary cereal, or switching from white rice to brown rice or quinoa at dinner. If you have any swallowing difficulties common in some older adults, make sure grains are cooked soft enough to be safe and comfortable to eat. Food number 6 is nuts, particularly walnuts, almonds, and pistachios. Nuts are rich in unsaturated fats, the good kind of fat that helps improve your cholesterol profile by raising HDL, the protective cholesterol, while helping lower LDL, the harmful cholesterol. Walnuts specifically also contain plant-based omega-3 fatty acids. Research has consistently shown that people who eat a small daily handful of nuts, roughly 1 ounce, have lower rates of heart attacks and heart disease death compared to those who rarely eat nuts. The key word here is small handful, because nuts are calorie-dense, and portion control matters, especially for seniors managing weight or diabetes. A practical tip is keeping a small pre-portioned bag of unsalted nuts as your afternoon snack instead of chips or crackers. Choose unsalted or lightly salted varieties, since many packaged nuts are heavily salted, which works against your blood pressure goals. If you have a nut allergy, avoid this food entirely and speak with a dietitian about alternative sources of healthy fat, such as olive oil or avocado. Food number 7 is olive oil, specifically extra virgin olive oil. This is a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, one of the most extensively studied eating patterns for heart health in medical research. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats and contains plant compounds called polyphenols, which have anti-inflammatory properties. Studies have linked regular olive oil consumption to lower rates of heart attacks, stroke, and cardiovascular death. The important thing here is substitution, not addition, meaning using olive oil in place of butter, margarine, or other cooking oils, rather than simply adding it on top of your usual diet. A simple way to use it daily is drizzling it over vegetables, using it as a base for salad dressing, or cooking your eggs in olive oil instead of butter. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about what these 7 foods have in common, because understanding the pattern is more powerful than memorizing a list. Every one of these foods is minimally processed, meaning it looks close to how it does in nature. Every one of these foods is either naturally low in sodium or helps your body manage sodium better. And every one of these foods brings either healthy fat, fiber, or protective plant compounds, and often all 3, to your daily diet. This matters because current heart health guidance from the American Heart Association emphasizes that overall eating patterns protect the heart far more than any single miracle ingredient. There is no pill, powder, or single food that can undo the effect of a diet that is otherwise high in processed meats, fried foods, sugary drinks, and excess salt. Let's also be honest about limitations, because a responsible health video should never promise something unrealistic. Eating these 7 foods daily is not a guarantee that you will never have a heart attack. Genetics, existing medical conditions, smoking history, physical activity levels, stress, and sleep quality all play a role in heart health too. These foods work best as part of a complete approach that includes regular movement, not smoking, managing blood pressure and cholesterol with your doctor's guidance, and getting quality sleep. If you already have heart disease, high blood pressure, kidney disease, or diabetes, please talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian before making major changes to your diet, because some of these recommendations, especially around potassium and vitamin K, need to be personalized to your specific health situation. So here is your simple daily heart health checklist based on everything we covered today. Try to include fatty fish twice a week, leafy greens daily, a serving of berries most days, legumes several times a week, whole grains instead of refined grains, a small handful of unsalted nuts daily, and olive oil in place of butter or other cooking oils. You don't need to do all of this perfectly starting tomorrow. Even adding just 2 or 3 of these foods consistently can make a measurable difference over time, based on the research we've discussed. Before you go, I want you to remember this. Your heart has been working for you every single second since before you were born. It has never taken a day off. The foods you choose today are one of the most direct ways you can say thank you to it, and give it what it needs to keep working well for many more years to come. If this video helped you, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more seniors who need this information. Subscribe if you want more simple, honest, doctor-backed health guidance made specifically for people over 60. And in the comments below, tell me which of these 7 foods you already eat and which one you're going to add to your routine this week. I read every comment and I'd love to hear from you. Now let's cover the practical health facts every senior and caregiver should know alongside this. The top causes behind heart attack risk after 60 include high blood pressure, high LDL cholesterol combined with low HDL cholesterol, atherosclerosis or plaque buildup in the arteries, type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, obesity, especially abdominal weight gain, and a history of smoking or current smoking. The symptoms of a heart attack, which can look different in seniors and in women, include chest pain, pressure, tightness, or squeezing, shortness of breath even without chest pain, pain spreading to the arm, jaw, neck, or back, cold sweat, nausea, or lightheadedness, and unusual fatigue, which can appear days before an event, especially in women. Key risk factors include age over 60, since arteries naturally stiffen with age, family history of heart disease, a sedentary lifestyle, a poor diet high in sodium, sugar, and processed foods, chronic stress and poor sleep, and existing conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or kidney disease. For prevention, seniors should get blood pressure and cholesterol checked regularly, maintain a healthy body weight, avoid smoking and secondhand smoke, limit alcohol since current guidance says there is no fully safe amount for heart health, manage stress through relaxation, hobbies, or social connection, and prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. On the lifestyle side, following a Mediterranean-style eating pattern, staying socially active and mentally engaged, scheduling annual checkups even without symptoms, and taking prescribed medications consistently all matter. The foods to eat daily or regularly are fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel about twice a week, leafy greens such as spinach and kale daily, berries such as blueberries and strawberries most days, legumes such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas several times a week, whole grains such as oats, brown rice, and quinoa daily in place of refined grains, unsalted nuts such as walnuts and almonds as a small handful daily, and extra virgin olive oil in place of butter or other cooking oils. Foods to limit or avoid include processed and cured meats, such as bacon, sausage, and deli meats, sugary drinks and excess added sugar, ultra-processed packaged snacks, foods high in sodium, such as canned soups, fast food, and salty snacks, fried foods, and foods high in trans fat or tropical oils, and excess alcohol. For exercise, always check with your doctor first, but general recommendations include at least 150 minutes per week of moderate activity, such as brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, light strength training 2 days per week to preserve muscle mass, balance exercises to reduce fall risk, and simple daily movement, such as short walks after meals, gardening, or stretching. Finally, everyone should know the warning signs that require immediate medical attention and a call to emergency services. Chest pain or pressure lasting more than a few minutes, or that comes and goes, sudden shortness of breath, pain spreading to the jaw, neck, back, or arms, sudden cold sweat, nausea or dizziness, combined with any of the above, and sudden confusion, fainting, or loss of consciousness. Take care of that heart of yours. This content is for general education only and is not a substitute for personalized medical advice, so always consult a doctor or registered dietitian before making significant changes to diet, exercise, or medication, especially if you have an existing heart condition, kidney disease, diabetes, or take blood-thinning medication. I'll see you in the next video.